Starting the live stream early. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be here. Why are you watching this? You should have come to the meeting. Oh well. You know, enjoy the show, but just know it's going to take like 5 minutes and you'll just be staring at my face until then. Zoltan!
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Good. Wait, let me attach my headset here.
Dig it, bro.
Hey, what's up, buddy? It's cold in Barcelona.
Sorry.
Let's see, where is this?
Getting in the spirit.
Oh yeah.
So I went to London's first Holochain meetup last night, and there was a bunch of very interesting cats. But I happened to run into the guy, Ollie, who took the harmonious working pattern stock for the Open Co-op. And he's quite interested in arranging an event, which I think we could probably do if there is interests amongst groups.
Nice. When you say that we could we'll probably do, where do you mean? Or what?
So, I mean, he's a part of the Open Co-op. He has a bunch of people in the kind of general collaborative spaces around here. Obviously, I can represent Giveth. I know that Pillar would like to get in on that action most likely because they won't want to host an unconference themselves either. So there's a triad between three parties that could get that spun up.
Oh, nice. And where would that happen, in London?
I was thinking the European Juggling Convention this summer, next to it, somewhere up the middle of England, because they know how to self-organize. Jugglers in groups of 5,000 around Europe self-organize every year with open space technology. So
yeah,
that'd be a good job.
Jen from who used to work with us in Giveth actually did a lot of is part of that crew.
Oh, cool, perfect. We should say hello to her.
Yeah, Chris and
Santa.
Hey. How's it
Been
going?
a while.
Yeah, it's a little cold here. You know?
Where are you?
In the Giveth office.
Oh, okay, cool.
Barcelona is cold.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, we're in this office. It's like a brick building in the basement. You know, even though I do have like daylight coming through over here.
You should be sitting there. You should switch the beds over to the other side.
Yeah. We'll see. You'll come in and see how we're gonna build like a fake wall here, or probably just some curtains, and have that be like the living space.
Cool.
Did you bring Stefan inside?
Yeah, he hasn't been here yet. He comes on Saturday. I have barely been here. I've only been here for 3 days. Kirsch has been here for a month though, putting together beds and all these things.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Oh, it's just us. Zoltan was here. Hey, Roberto.
Hey guys.
Hey.
How's it going, man? See if we can get some representatives from we need Team 1 and I guess that's it really. If not, I can kind of represent team one and we can just do quick updates. This shouldn't be, it's just a sync, so it doesn't have to be a big old meeting or anything. Cool. So I put some notes in there just to like kind of, if anyone has an agenda item that they want to put on, they can. But it should be pretty quick. Hey, Zoltan.
Hi.
Glad you can make it, man. Well, let's get this party started, and if more people come, it's cool. The main thing is, so agenda items down the list. If you guys see the Google Doc and you have something to add, go for it. But the first thing on the agenda is just to talk about how we have this spreadsheet with like millions of links, and it's so nice. And I think Josh and Kai and Chris, you guys are the ones maintaining this, and it has like all of the links that anyone ever wants. So make sure to keep that in mind.
And to add your own documents.
Yep, add as many docs as you can. And then we have the real-time board for team 1, 2, and 3. I think team 1 still needs to put it on. Team 1 is having like 2 hours of meetings right after this. So I imagine they'll get their act together a little bit. Well, I'm going to help them get their act together a little bit on getting everything so we can collaborate a little better. And then, so just those 2 links are useful. And then splitting the winnings. So a quick update on that. I really like Team 4's suggestions. So we'll just incorporate those. We're going to get rid of travel and the bonus money altogether and just do splitting between teams 1 through 4. Team 5 isn't going to stay on the boat. They actually ended up getting, they were bribed to go to Odyssey by Nature 2.0, so they got free lodging, and so they're also not, yeah, they're not, and so they're not going to be part of the split either because it doesn't really make sense. So the split will just pay for the boat and the boat gets cheaper when other people stay on it that aren't part of teams 1 and 4. So then that'll come off the cost of the boat. And then if the boat is less than 50% of the winnings from all the teams, then that extra bonus will be split among everybody. And then, but each team, assuming the boat takes priority, and then if it's less than 50% of the total cost, then all the teams will split that extra equally. And then each team will get to keep 50% of their total winnings. And I will outline scenarios of this on the Lumio and just repropose, I guess. Does that sound cool, Roberto? It was a little different than what you were saying. You were saying boat and then 50-50 split.
I'm not sure if it's different. Well, basically it says all the winnings. Is it different? So all the team. So if you win, you keep 50%. Then the 50% goes into the common pot, and from there we basically cover the expenses of the boat. And if there is anything left, you just split it equally. Is it different or?
That's pretty much it. With this extra thing on top that says if the boat is more than 50%, then that comes out of the winnings.
Ah, right. Okay, just in case we cannot cover. Yeah. So basically, if we don't win enough, that would. Yeah. Okay. That's not going to be a problem, I hope.
I don't think so. The boat's pretty cheap. It's like going to be less than 50 euros a day per person. So
yeah, but I agree.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Cool. Well, why don't we go reverse since no one from team 1 is here. So let's go start at team 4 and then go back down that way, and just in case someone from team 1 shows up. So maybe Roberto, do you want to give some updates on team 4?
Yes. So we have been. It has been a bit difficult to meet with the devs. also to align on a story that is implementable within the time that we have left and at the hackathon. But what we've done has been experiment with this kind of matrix factorization directly in Ethereum, so in Solidity, and that has been a pretty interesting experiment, and there was blood everywhere, and so we have basically tried a few numerical recipes. Unfortunately, Solidity only takes integers, and I think that is the problem, because we haven't managed yet, as of now, to actually have it does spit up numbers, but it doesn't spit up the right numbers. So there must be something wrong somewhere, and so it would be great if somebody has experience with that. If we could have a look on the code we wrote so far. And we were just experimenting with this creating of this graph structure with resources, where you basically specify a recipe and then you just keep following them up to the end of the graph. So we're just experimenting with this smart contracts, basically. On the other hand, we also had a discussion on how does it look in terms of user experience, and that is so we thought about having two different interfaces. One is the resource explorer, where you can just basically travel the graph visually, and you see which resource links to which resource. So you're going to be able to have a little bit of a feeling of how it operates. And on the other hand, more importantly, what is the user experience, which basically says how does it look like? Is it an app which has a list of things you can get, and there is a price on top of that nobody has set? And then you can just basically, you have a wallet and you can say, okay, I can get that, or I can get that. Right. So this is where we are at. Yeah, for now we have kept a little bit, a bit of distance from tracking contributions, at least at this point, because we're just making this experiment. And hopefully that part can be done in collaboration with the other teams.
When you say tracking contributions, you mean within your system?
So the resource ecology is just the graph for the links, how a resource links together. But then you have the other part, which basically is where the contribution comes into the DAO, and then we need to kind of group them together and say, well, this contribution created this token. So we need a way to keep track of basically where the contribution came from. And so for now, we haven't touched that part.
Okay, cool.
So saying if people bring in power on this resource or whatever, that basically that is saved within the DAO as a token. So they actually, the token is what groups together this contribution into something that is practical, and then we can move this token around, and then you can always burn it and for the right price, and that flows down to the people that have contributed.
Cool. Is there, so you need help with maybe overviewing the Solidity? Maybe you can put a link in the main Odyssey chat and just ask for help there. And we'll see if we can get, Team 2 has a bunch of Solidity guys, so maybe they'll want to check it out. Is there any other action items for the week that you're hoping to accomplish, especially along coordination with other teams?
Yes, actually, good point. We also have prepared a small document with some notes regarding the Nature 2.0 track. So we can now share it with Team 2, and we can have, so they can have a read, and then we can have a conversation. So actually, if there is a split afterwards, we can just go through the document together. So yeah, they can adjust the wording, and we can do a Q&A about that.
Cool. Cool. then I guess we can move on to team 3, unless you got anything else.
No, for now that's. But this is the update. Maybe what we're gonna do next week. Well, hopefully we can get a little bit more time with the devs, defining the what we can actually manage to achieve within the hackathon. And again, we were discussing about how this whole system that we are envisioning is a little bit agent centric, and how potentially Holochain would be the perfect platform to develop this on. But of course, as the rest of the team are working with Ethereum, and also there are some of the good things about Ethereum, the smart contracting. I don't know if anybody has experience with linking up Holochain and Ethereum.
I'm pretty sure there is no such thing. I wish there was. I wish there was.
Eventual sort of a relay, or.
But I do think, like in general, like yeah, would be awesome to build on Holochain, but it's not there yet. Yeah, we could make a model, you know, say, okay, if we had Holochain, we could do this, but that's as far as we can push it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Indeed, right now they're doing. I threw the ball on them and say, okay, you guys know how much you can do on Holochain, so it's their call if they really think that that's the direction of linking all the DAOs into Holochains rather than in Ethereum. But for now, the development is going on in Ethereum. Yeah.
Hey Roberto, just a practical question for you as team captain, because I saw in your team that Kuchi asked if it was possible to send a meeting invite for your meeting that you have in a few hours. So if you want to do it, just know that in the main document that's linked here at the top, all the email addresses of everyone are in the second tab. So that's easy for you if you want to send a meeting invite.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Cool. So I'll throw down some updates for Team 3. Not a whole lot. We have, I think we've come around to this real-time board and have solidified, almost finished the user walkthrough. We definitely want to sync up more with Team 2 to define how we exactly integrate. That's a big, oh, and if someone wants to take notes for me, I'm sorry. I had to stop taking notes. So we're definitely looking to connect on how do we integrate the pieces and like really fold together, because we're going to need to know, like, how do we add, part of our scope is very integrated into your scope. So like, how do we add milestones from Giveth to the set of milestones that are being decided upon for the momentum voting? So that's still a big question. And in general, just the total math around all this stuff is a big question that Team 1, 2, and 3 need to work on together. So hopefully I'll be able to solidify that on Team 1 side tonight. There is more on Team 3. We are, I think Kai and George from Giveth are looking at deploying our own branch on GitHub. And that, Kai, is there any status update on that?
We don't make a branch on Git, or we didn't yet, but it depends on what we need. We will try to walk through it tomorrow. And so we made a droplet and we have to run feathers, and it will be painful. And I hope we'll reach RJ with the questions if we need them answered. But yeah, let's see how it goes. We have plenty of time. It for sure has been done before, so I don't think it. Yeah, I think it can be done. And we need.
And I want to encourage all the other teams that if they have milestones or something that they want up for some kind of view of their system, this is the place to do it. So we can have all the various campaigns for all the different narratives of you know, what people want to do, and we can just post it on Giveth, and then I'll have like a nice, pretty layout that we can all use. So
we
that
can
would be
always work on those, though. They are texts and images, and they can be prepared without the deploy being ready yet.
Yeah, it'll be really good to do as much of that in advance as we can. Although for Team 3, there will be a lot of that on the fly for adding the other teams' like work into it. So that's one of our Team 3 strategies is to be funding all the different solutions that the other teams are coming up with and kind of add them in. So basically, all of the whole wildlife track will be on the Team 3 solution is part of the idea. Let's see, and the other piece, there's still some ambiguity on whether or not we will add a plugin for Giveth in the smart contract side, or if we will write a wrapper for the tokens that are donated from the DAO when the DAO sends money our way. So we'll see about that. There's just some technical things that we need to discuss for sure. But otherwise, it's Max has been really on top of organizing things. Our team is a little dispersed, and like I think only a couple of people are really active, mostly Max, Deem, and I. So, but we'll put it all together here over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I think that's all the updates on Team 3. So I'll pass it to Team 2. I guess Kai, you want to hold that down for Team 2?
I'm not so sure if there are so many updates. We did some. We're diving into the design of stuff, and then got into a short conversation about different ways how we could do it, and realizing there's so much we can show. So I think at least I'm gonna do some more, try some UI work on like a more detailed, show a more detailed milestone in momentum voting. But I don't know, Griff, that session never happened with Sergey, I think, right? Because there was supposed to be a user, so we need user stories, we said.
So the session did happen with Sergey, but it was mostly me explaining the entire system, and it didn't end up really resulting in us going into the real-time board. I tried to bring it there, but I didn't get there with him. So we talked for like 2 hours, and we did brainstorm a lot of ideas, like displaying the momentum in dollars. So like basically you have this specific amount of voting power that we call momentum in the thing, and we can actually kind of display that as the amount of dollars or XDAI that the milestone would have to be worth, where this amount of conviction would make it pass. So that's kind of a cool thing. And what happens there is then you have real-time reaction when people allocate their tokens. You can see the amount of momentum go up. And over time, you can see the amount of momentum go up in a dollar amount. And then you can kind of see this, like, how many more XDAI are needed to make this happen, right? Like, and so that also encourages the direct donation through Team 3 on Giveth. So there's we had a lot of cool, productive things, and getting him wrapped around it. But I think trying to get you and him to do another a real-time board meeting might be really beneficial, because he's definitely a designer.
So I did see some updates on the real-time board, but it's just like this flow there. So what we still need to do are the user stories, and I was hoping, I don't know, Spawnit seems to like be at another hackathon, or was early in the week, and he's probably occupied with other stuff, because he's great with those things. In Swarm City, they did those nice user stories.
Yeah.
And yeah, and hey, Sultan, you're also on Team 2. You could also maybe dive in. We are still hoping for like a team meeting, but we're so far apart and everybody is so busy that it doesn't seem to be hard to get together as a team and work on stuff. Most of the stuff happens asynchronously and in design and overall system coming from Griff now, I guess.
Cool. And then, like, there's still ambiguity on whether or not you guys will use Argon.
I don't know. Is there because you just said that a team one will not be using Aragon?
This is true.
So we should, but we need a DAO engine. Is that also true, right? Or
yeah.
So I don't know. So there is only a few options, and yeah, we said Gnosis safe, and I don't know about DAO stack, or I don't know about alternatives. This is a good group. Like anybody, any ideas?
I mean, the alternative is just make it all from scratch.
Yeah, I mean,
but
you were telling me about Gnosis Safe, and they have these modules, and it looks like, I mean, I have not looked deeper into it, and I'm not gonna, would not be the one to like write that stuff anyway. But it looks like they have a really good connection to, you can just plug in whatever you want. Actually, what we wanted to do with Aragon, and then at the hackathon, and then realizing that Aragon had this complex layer of, yeah. So maybe, but that's not the final word. But we should definitely, so that's still something I would like to have, is one discussion of the whole, when to use what system, when are we using Giveth, when, you know, what kind of contracts do we need to, even what kind of contracts do we need to deploy? Do we deploy the normal Giveth ones? Do we update them later?
I don't think Team 2 needs to worry anything about Giveth.
I just got a deployment we make.
Oh yeah, for Team 3's deployment, you mean?
Yeah, because it should be a Robson Rinkeby deployment, I think, like the release.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what I think that we will probably not even use the bridge directly. We'll make a DAO on Rinkeby, and the milestones, I believe they have a fallback function that they can receive Rinkeby tokens directly, and so
we can just make a Rinkeby feathers without a bridge.
You'll need to deploy everything, otherwise it won't work. But there'll be errors all over the place. But we don't necessarily, we won't actually end up needing to use the Robson stuff or the bridge. I'm pretty sure. We need to.
Yeah,
we need to
if you want to, like, I can also ping you when I'm starting with George.
Yeah,
because you also need to know much about.
That's all a Team 3 deployment thing, though. So, just to stay on task, is there anything else specifically related to momentum voting?
No.
No.
Nothing more.
Zoltan, do you have any thoughts you want to throw in? Like, since you're here, do you happen to have any time this week to look at anything, Zoltan? He's muted. Okay, we'll move on. The mute. Okay, Team 1. So I can give updates from Team 1. Basically, they have, Corey and Billy have been working really hard on Apiary app, which is basically token bonding curves for Aragon. But they are, while it might be far enough along to use it, they're going to probably just go with a simple implementation that doesn't involve Aragon, because it has a bunch of extra baggage that they don't need. So they'll just go with that. They have a team meeting with their track sponsor in half an hour. So I'm going to go to that, and that'll be like where the direction really comes from. And like this, and then after that we have another little Team 1 team sync. So there'll be a lot more updates after that. So in 2 hours from now, but we got some simulations from Zargum this week that we can use to kind of give legitimacy to the parameters that we pick. And I think that we will solidify a lot of the math behind Team 1, which will allow Team 2 and Team 3 to solidify the math that they're working on as well. And so Team 1, Abby has been really on top of everything, I would say, and coordinating people. So it's all happening, but still everyone's busy and doing their own things. So, but yeah, it should be pretty easy. Team 1 has already done this hackathon successfully, so they'll be able to pull it out, I'm sure.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Well, that's it. Unless anyone has any coordinating that they want to do for breaking out after this call. I guess one more update from Team 3 that I almost forgot is that we're moving to Indonesia. We're going to cut out the whole Mexico Al Libre final thing and just do Indonesia because that's what they want. Yeah, Roberto's giving me positive.
Yeah, I was thinking indeed, like, let's make them happy because, of course, they're already there. They have the presence for 20 years. So if we make a system for them, then they would feel much more happy about it, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So we need to research to see how we can convert crypto to fiat in Indonesia, but shouldn't be scary. I actually lived in Bali in 2014 for a few months. It's hard to say, but and they had a solid crypto scene. So I'm sure that there's ways.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's related.
Hey, Dean.
Hey, it's related to Team 3 and Team 2. Do we have a doodle for like a sync meeting or something?
No, not yet. But I was supposed to make that last week and it never happened. So I'll do this right now.
Hey, Griff, a completely ridiculous question, but it's the only thing that is like in my basket right now. But do I go for 25 green beanies or do I go for 20 plus 5 of the ones that Gucci proposed?
Yeah, sure. 20 plus 5.
Okay, I'll do that.
To be aware, I met a fellow that has proposed a declaration of interest for the 1 million EU prize blockchains for social good yesterday at the Holochain meetup. He's looking for teams doing what we're doing, essentially. So we might want to talk to him or invite him into our lair of some sort, a meeting. I don't know, whatever's good. But
Social coding?
Yeah, that's probably the place to do it. And then that'd be the one to do it. But I'd invite everybody to come along to it because, he's a Stanford old school interneter that's been working for the last 30 years to do, autonomous communities working together collectively, all that stuff. So it'd be cool if we could all get together to say hello to him and things and see if there's a mutual interest because I know he's looking for technical teams.
So, yeah, that sounds great, man. Definitely, maybe if we can all be in. Did you get his contact in Telegram or something?
Yeah, I've got all his stuff. I don't have his Telegram. He's like 70, so Telegram's not his bag. But he's from Stanford. So I'm sure he can work it out.
Yeah, probably wants a Facebook group then. Yeah, just. If you can connect us all via email or something, and then see if Social Coding Sync sounds like a great place.
Yeah, I'll get him into there, and then once I've got him to confirm that he's going to come there, then I'll get everybody else in the Telegram groups to go, guys, I've got him over here.
Yeah, and Dean, back to what you were saying, the reason that I remember now as I make this doodle, why we can't, Team 2 needs to sync before we can sync with them.
Oh, okay.
This is the problem. So we need to get Emily and Kai and Spanette basically all in the same room at some point.
We really tried, but our doodle died.
Your doodle died.
We had a doodle and it died, It's like if you go there now, there's all these question marks for the end of the week because we extended the doodle because it was not possible to have that meeting. Yeah, we tried though, and we showed it again.
I was wondering about those question marks. How did they get them here? What's going on here? Right, I'll leave the room.
We were set on a date, and then people said, "Oh, I can. No, I can. No, I can't." And then didn't happen.
Well, burn it down.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be. I think we just need to get crypto glitter. We need to get Emily to like give us a time for brainstorming, you know, and then hopefully Spunnet can make it happen. Okay. Well, I don't want to take everyone's time. I think that this was productive sync, and we can leave it at that. So thank you, guys.
And see you later.
See you.
Bye.
Oh.
Okay.